接下来，Sherry 老师介绍我们的有丝公益，然后就是我们的嘉宾分享环节。Sherry 老师，交给你。
好的，谢谢 Cindy 的主持。今天非常高兴邀请了有思平台的2位优秀青年榜样为我们做这个精彩的这个讲座那有思公益呢是在美国、加拿大和中国陆续注册的非营利组织。我们是一家公益创新平台，致力于为全球的青少年来提供公益创新行动和社会活动的规划指导和资源支持，挖掘和孵化一批优秀的青年公益项目。那么今天我们来分享的这个公益项目，就是由有思公益指导和支持的一个非常有创新性的这个青年由我们的青少年来发起的这个公益创新项目。那我们希望用青年力量，然后关注联合国的可持续发展问题，培养有社会责任感的未来世界公民并且凝聚世界青年力量创新全球治理促进国际青少年的跨文化交流，助力一个更加美丽世界共同未来。那有思公益呢，在创建到现在的3年多的时间里，我们已经陆陆续续的指导和支持了很多的青少年，由他们来发起各自的公益项目。我们是基于我们青少年的个人的兴趣爱好、能力特长、未来的专业和职业的方向家长的资源、愿望期待以及联合国的可持续发展目标。那么通过我们专业导师的指导，让我们的青少年呢来发起各个主题的公益项目，并且呢通过有思平台提供各种资源，包括帮助去组建项目团队帮助去做这种筹款的这种指导和支持以及把项目在全球范围内落地和实施，产生更大的影响力。那么在3年多的时间里，已经有20多个各个主题的公益项目被孵化出来。那么今天就是其中的一个项目那么我们稍后会请2位联合发起人来分享这个项目的案例。那我们也很高兴的看到很多的青少年在我们的平台上得到了锻炼和成长。那么现在很多的青少年因为在公益项目中展现出的领导力、利他精神和这种价值观被包括哈佛、耶鲁、斯坦福等在内的很多的名校所录取。下一页，好，那介绍一个有思公益的青年榜样是 Summer。Summer 呢是现在在哈佛大学读书，那么他是在美国加州出生长大，在我的指导下 ，Summer 创建了自己的非营利组织 Read to Rise， 然后他又基于他喜欢这个跨文化交流以及他需要学习人类文化学的这个专业，在我的指导下发起了跨文化国际学生论坛。同时呢，他作为核心领导团队成员，参与了有思公益自主推出的“与你相伴”的项目。那么这个项目呢，是在全球招募了40多个青少年作为语伴儿，帮助被美国家庭收养的中国孤残儿童教中文和中国文化的项目。那么 Summer 是项目的核心领导团队成员之一，他组建了一个义工团队，去联络80多个报名参加项目的收养家庭。那 Summer 自己呢，也是学校的学生会主席，在本地也做了很多的社区和公益的活动。因为他卓越的领导力和这种对社区和公益服务的践行力，那么他被评选为2023届美国青年参议员。那美国呢，每一年在11年级和12年级高中生中去遴选，每个州呢2个名额，全美国有104位青年会获得美国青年参议员的荣誉。Summer 是这104位上一届104位青年参议员之一。那去年呢 ，Summer 也是获得了包括哈佛、耶鲁、斯坦福、宾夕法尼亚大学和达特茅斯学院在内的多所藤校的录取。那么现在他在哈佛大学读书。那他现在已经加入了我们有思在美国创办的有这个机构的理事会团队，成为了我们的搭档同时呢Summer 和今天我们马上要分享的一位嘉宾Nina 他们两个还有另外的2位青年榜样呢，共同来发起了读写有益学社这样的一个公益项目。那么继续在有思平台带领更多的青少年在做这个公益。好，有思公益呢也有很多自主推出的公益项目，因为不是每一个青少年都有能力自己策划项目、发起项目。那我们希望能给更多的青少年公益实践的机会。我们也鼓励孩子从更小的时候，甚至于从幼儿园开始，就要在父母的言传身教下接触公益。所以呢，我们有很多像与你相伴。这个绿色未来俱乐部、海洋卫视俱乐部、国际青少年演讲俱乐部、辩论俱乐部、英语快乐聊、有思环球学友、有思公益有国际学生论坛小记者俱乐部这个小候鸟行动是在这个工厂里做夏令营，帮助中国的留守儿童的这样的公益项目。那么 Go Strong 呢是帮助南非贫困女生购买卫生巾的项目，还有跟中国的乡村的困境家庭的孩子做1对1爱心助学的项目等等那么包括我刚才提到的读写有益学社，那么这些项目呢都是我们有思平台优秀青年，那么他们有些是他们自己去发起的，然后持续的在这个平台上去实施的。那么有些呢是有思公益自主发起的。那么这些项目呢都是开放给更多的青少年来参加，成为俱乐部的会员。那么有些俱乐部呢也还在开放一些领导岗位的这个招募，所以都欢迎感兴趣的青少年来报名参加到这些项目中来，那么让孩子得到全方位的锻炼和成长。好，那时间关系呢，就不再做过多的介绍了。那欢迎感兴趣的朋友来扫码关注有思公益。一个是添加我们的小助手微信，可以帮你邀请到有思公益的社群中，可以及时的获取各类的公益项目和讲座的信息。那另外也可以关注我们的公众号，那么在这个公众号里面可以查看到有思公益的各种各样的项目，包括我刚才提到的联合国未来峰会的这些招募信息，都可以在我们的公众号上去查询到。
你也加进去看一眼。
好的，那我们留一点时间大家扫码可以关注有思公益。好的，那我今天的介绍就到这里继续时间交给 Cindy。
好的，那么今天的活动呢是告别湿疹全球健康联盟论坛。So welcome to the Goodbye Eczema Global Health Alliance Forum. 我接下来会用中文主要介绍，然后用英文简单介绍。So I will use Chinese to introduce and then use English to introduce. If you think the English version is too simple, please let me know. OK, so 今天的活动呢是为了帮助大家呢更好的了解如何去控制我们的湿疹或者说青春痘，然后提高我们的生活质量。在接下来的时间呢，我们会一起去探讨湿疹的治疗方法，以及倾听我们的2位小嘉宾自己的经历和康复故事。我们还会介绍一些比较实用的健康资源和活动，然后特别还安排了薛氏医学太极的介绍，还有一个为期60天的健康挑战，就是希望能通过这些环节，让大家一起迈向更加健康的、更加美丽的生活方式。那么today we'll explore ways to manage eczema, hear recovery stories, and learn about health resources. We'll also introduce Xue's medical Tai Chi and a 60-day health challenge to help you lead a healthier life. So now let's welcome 2 speakers. So 那我现在会来稍微介绍一下我们2位超级优秀的发言人。第一位呢是 Athenia 刘，他是一位纽约市高中的11年级学生，也是 Goodbye Eczema 告别湿疹全球健康联盟的创始人及主席。他也是 Team CEO 项目的联合创始人，担任了中国学生会俱乐部秘书长和羽毛球俱乐部主席。他不仅是一个活力的 运动女孩，她还热爱社会公益，曾经带领着筹款活动，筹集了超过$2000，差不多是15000人民币，然后获得了总统志愿服务金奖。So Athenia Liu is an 11th grade student in NYC and the founder of Goodbye Eczema Global Health Alliance. She is also the co-founder of Team CEO and served as the Secretary General of the Chinese Student Association and the president of Badminton Club. Athenia is a very passionate and active student on the social impact perspective. She led the fundraising for activities and raised over $2,000 and earning the Presidential Volunteer Service Gold Award. 那么第二位演讲者也同样令人期待，她叫妮娜詹，她是伊利诺伊州的高中生，也是 Goodbye Eczema 的联盟创始人及主席。她呢是一位学霸，是科学奥林匹克队长、科学馆队长以及志愿者学生部主席。他对科学充满热情，并且获得了多项的竞赛奖项，同时他也热心公益，多次的获得总统义工金奖。So Nina Zhan is an Illinois high school student and the founder and president of Goodbye Eczema Alliance, as well as Athenia Liu. So she is the captain of the Science Olympiad and Science Bowl teams, as well as the president of the Volunteer Student Division. So Nina is passionate about the science, winning multiple competition awards, and is deeply committed to the community service. And this is why she's also interested in teaching us how she dealt with the eczema. Next, our speakers will share their stories. Let's welcome them. 那接下来我把舞台交给两位演讲者，让他们来分享他们的故事吧。让我们欢迎一下他们。
谢谢 Thank you, Cindy and Ms. Sherry. Hello again, my name is Athenia Liu, and welcome to our Goodbye Eczema Global Health Alliance Forum. So we are authorized as an ambassador of the American National Eczema Association, and here at Goodbye Eczema, our mission is to help people suffering from eczema and to help them enjoy their life again through a holistic health approach. Here at Goodbye Eczema, we want to create a safe global space for sharing valuable health information and resources and offering these health tips to communities to continue to support and empower individuals to make healthier decisions. Next slide, please.
Okay, thank you so much to both Athenia and Cindy for that amazing introduction. And so the Goodbye Eczema Global Health Alliance Forum has this platform. So this encourages exchanging personal experiences, verified practices, preventative measures, and improvement plans. And unlike many other organizations, Goodbye Eczema is very unique in that it caters to every single person. So that regardless of your skin type, hair type, body type, etc., we have all that cater to your specific lifestyles so that we have these verified practices that help you in your everyday life. And this also promotes this proactive, can you go back to the previous slide? Thank you. And this also promotes a proactive and holistic approach to personal health and well-being, so you enjoy life with more freedom and being symptom-free. So the target of this is mainly to help people live more balanced, healthier, and happier lives and feel confident in their skincare, lifestyle, and life journey, and help people become happier in their own skin.
Thank you. And here is a short little introduction on eczema. So eczema is an inflammatory skin condition that causes itchiness, dry skin, rashes, and skin infections. And there are several different types of eczema, and atopic dermatitis is the most chronic and most common form of eczema. And eczema can range from mild to severe and can begin during early childhood all the way to adulthood. And a common misconception is that eczema is contagious, but it is actually not. So if a person touches you that has eczema, don't worry, you're not affected. Next slide, please. So what causes eczema? According to the American Academy of Dermatology, atopic dermatitis, or eczema, can be caused by interaction between a person's environment and their genetics. Because people with eczema tend to have an overactive immune system, so they respond to irritants or allergens by producing inflammation, which causes your skin to become red and itchy. How common is eczema? So in the US, around 32 million people, or 10%, have some form of eczema, and it usually peaks during childhood. And although percentages can vary, adults who are multiracial or white tend to have the highest prevalence of eczema. And in the US, Black children are more affected than white children and Hispanic children, and Black children and Hispanic children tend to have more severe eczema than white children.
And also, what is it like to have eczema? Itch is the most burdensome symptom of atopic dermatitis, followed by skin pain and sleep loss, otherwise known as insomnia. And more than 55% of adults with moderate to severe atopic dermatitis report inadequate disease control. And there's also something called comorbid conditions, which the simple definition is that 2 or more conditions affect at the same time. So children with atopic dermatitis often develop other atopic conditions, often in a sequence of food allergy, allergic rhinitis, and asthma, known as the atopic march. And lifestyle is also a big impact, as half of patients with moderate to severe atopic dermatitis indicate that it is significantly limiting their lifestyle. And we also have something called the National Eczema Association, which is a very helpful site and platform. So this is a nonprofit organization, and the National Eczema Association, or NIA, is the voice, the resource, and the hub for more than 31 million Americans and their families who are living with eczema. So you can just visit nationaleczema.org for cutting-edge research, education, resources, opportunities to get involved, or to learn more. For example, if you want to help a family member with eczema, you can check out their research papers and other factors.
Okay, so for our personal stories, so I'll begin. So my skin was always super sensitive, but the pandemic was what really exacerbated my eczema symptoms. So during that time, my house was going through roof repairs. So the sealant was one of the major, you can say, triggers that flared up my skin, and along with other external allergens and stress, my eczema completely broke out. And it started flaring up in common areas like the arms and behind the legs, and I became super sensitive and triggered to substances and foods that were fine to me before, like seafood and mango. And so around this time, I was officially diagnosed with eczema. And as you can see, these are some pictures, and right off the bat, it was already pretty bad. It flared up all over my legs, neck, and arm. Now for stage 2, which is the treatment part. So we initially didn't treat it very seriously and loosely follow my dermatologist's advice and prescriptions with steroid, which we used in extreme moderation. But my daily life was consumed by persistent itchiness, which added to my insomnia and sleep quality. So we just relied on off-the-counter lotions like CeraVe and herbal soups that my mom helped boil to decrease inflammation and strengthen my immune system. However, there was very little improvement. And here are some more pictures. As you can see, the Eastern medicines and pots of herbal ingredients. I think there's around like 10 or 12 different types. Stage 3, continuing with the treatment part. So my eczema spread from small patches on my arms and legs to just large areas all over my face and body. So we visited various Eastern doctors trying acupuncture, cupping, herbal ointment, and bandages, but everything didn't really seem to work. So we returned to Western medicine, and I was prescribed next levels of steroid creams, which did temporarily improve my skin by reducing my flare-ups and dryness. However, I did experience TSW, or topical steroid withdrawal. So that resulted in just redder skin, flaky, and open wounds from my continuous scratching. yeah, trigger warning, some pictures. So cupping and the steroids. And this was actually when my skin wasn't really bad. And I was like, during making this presentation, I was asking my mom, like, hey, do you have any more pictures? But she was like, you didn't let me take any pictures when you were at your worst part. So this was relatively like mild. But yeah, here's some pictures and the cupping. Now stage 4, which is the recovery part. So after me and my mom began to do more research and understanding this condition a little more, we realized the root problem was lifestyle related. So I stopped using steroid cream entirely and instead focused on making lifestyle changes. But the steroid cream did provide a foundation to begin implementing these changes, because before I totally could not like walk or move comfortably in clothes, and I just sat all day because of how bad like the eczema would hurt. And during this time, while we were transitioning from like medicines to more holistic approaches, we launched Goodbye Eczema. Thank you, my mom and Global Youth Philanthropy, for your continued support. Now, I won't get into it this much. I'll go into the next slide, but we found 7 major areas to target for this natural recovery. Yeah, here are more pictures. When my skin fully recovered, I was more active, I could go out again, and I started playing badminton, which is one of my favorite sports now. Next slide, please. So this is my natural recovery. So again, as I mentioned before, there are 7 different categories. So the first one is mindset and spirit. So to even begin, I really had to change my mentality and view on eczema, because before, just even for a year, it just seemed like impossible, and it seemed like this thing was never going to go away. So I had to change my faith and how I viewed eczema, and believed that it's possible for it to cure. Next up, we have skincare. So as mentioned before, I stopped using steroids and just use off-the-counter lotions like CeraVe. And recently, I've been using Bioderma more. And I developed and maintained a daily skin routine, make sure my skin is clean and moisturized throughout the day. Like, I always have a little pack of lotion I bring everywhere. There we have nutrition and diet. So my family's pretty healthy. We're healthy eaters. So we just continue to incorporate anti-inflammatory foods and reduce our salt and sugar intake, which I know is kind of hard because as Chinese people, we love to have our spices and different types of stir-fried dishes. And I also had to keep in mind my water intake, which is so important to flush out all your toxins in your body, which is something I'm still working on, because sometimes when you're really busy, you forget to drink water. Further, we have sleep, which is a big area for me because I've been having insomnia since 3rd grade. And to combat that, which is something I still need to improve, but to combat that, I've implemented a nighttime routine to help me get into the mood to sleep. So like light exercises and reading books, and also reducing screen time, because we found out that blue light can actually keep your brain active. So I've been trying to reduce more screen time, and it's something I still need to improve and work on. Oh, a little too quick. Oh, a little too quick.
Sorry, the mouse just lost the control. I don't know
It's
how
okay.
to quickly jump in.
Okay.
Sorry, let's get back to that page. Yeah.
One more. Okay, there we go. All right, and oh, could you scroll down? I think we're missing something. All right, for exercises, I think a big part of helping my skin recover was going back to school, because before this whole condition started during the pandemic and we were doing online school, but fully going back to school and in person really helped my body and forced me to, get out there, get some sunlight, that vitamin D, and continuing to stay active and going outdoors. So as my skin slowly started to heal, I could go outside more and exercise without having really to worry about, if sweat would also be a trigger. So I continued swimming, which is something I love to do, and of course, badminton. Stress management is the next one. This is also super important as someone who is like an overthinker, and But I've had some simple but effective methods, so like deep breathing and positive affirmations, and really giving myself like, personal time and really listening to music, going out to nature. Those are the tips that work for me, but I'm sure everyone's different. Now for environment is another big factor. So my family started doing more regular house cleanings and eliminating all unnatural fragrance and detergents like soaps and body wash, things like that. And we also found out that dust mites was a big external allergen for me. So we started using more protected bed and pillow linens that can combat against that. And as mentioned before, National Eczema Association, they have eczema like convention or expo, you can say, that they host every year. And me and my mom, we actually went 2023 and 2024, and it's just a great space where not only like those with eczema, they gather, but experts, professionals, doctors, even holistic practitioners, they all gather. And it's a huge 3-day convention where you just learn, listen, hear everyone's stories. And yeah, we had a great time, and we wanted to show you in case you guys were also interested. Now I'll pass it off to Nina.
Okay, thank you so much, Athenia. I think the tips that you shared were really helpful, and I'm sure that it benefited many people on this webinar. But now I'll be sharing my personal experience with eczema, and it is a bit different because, of course, everyone's skin is different. So I hope it will help all of you. Okay, so my struggle with eczema began in middle school, and as many of the common symptoms of eczema show, I noticed patches of itchy, inflamed skin that interfered with my daily life and caused severe insomnia. So then I tried various moisturizers, antihistamines, etc., but those weren't really effective. So then after that, because I'm very interested in chemistry and medicine, I decided to do some research in order to figure out a homemade way in order to solve my eczema issue without using anything that is too strong like steroids, because I felt that my sensitive skin might not be able to handle that. So I found that it is caused by a mutation in the filaggrin protein, which forms the stratum corneum of the skin. And just as a definition, the stratum corneum is something that prevents things such as allergens and irritants from entering the barrier of the skin. And this also results in diminished epidermal defense. So as this diagram shows, the normal skin has this strong skin barrier. And as you can see, there's this bonding filaggrin proteins. So this causes this natural moisturizing factor and also layers of lipid cells that prevent allergens and irritants from entering. However, as you can see, the weakened skin barrier leads to increased water loss because the filaggrin protein no longer forms these strong bonds that protect these irritants from coming in. There are also fewer lipid cells and less moisturizing factor, which is why a lot of the times you'll realize that you have very dry eczema, but every single time you moisturize, it just becomes dry again. So this is the reason why, because this protein has this mutation. So my further research about eczema showed something about the pH. So healthy skin typically has a pH of 4.5 to 5.75. And as many of you know, a pH of 7 is considered neutral, so a pH of 4.5 to 5.75 is considered slightly acidic. And this is optimal for inhibiting pathogenic bacteria on the skin. So then eczema would cause this pH to become alkaline. And for those of you who don't know, alkaline is just another word for basic, otherwise known as a pH greater than 7. So a basic condition on the skin promotes the growth of Staphylococcus aureus, which is this bacterium that triggers an immune response to increase inflammation and damages the skin's natural barrier. For example, the stratum corneum, for example. And this leads to a different balance of bacteria that deviates from that of healthy skin. We can also compare this to our gut because our gut has a very specific balance of microbiomes that lead to a healthy balance. And so, as we talked about, Goodbye Eczema does focus on this holistic approach. And so because we care about our entire body, this helps with a better cure for eczema compared to other things such as dermatology, which only focuses on the skin. Okay, so something that worked for me was probiotics. So probiotics aid in lactic acid production, which is commonly applied in treatments for eczema, psoriasis, acne, pimples, etc., or anything related to the skin. So what lactic acid does is that it maintains this healthy gut and reduces systemic inflammation caused by atopic dermatitis. For example, lactic acid also contributes to the production of ceramides, which are a form of lipid layer that protects the skin from such irritants. And this also helps restore the natural protective function of the skin even after the filaggrin protein has been mutated. So from doing my research, I realized that I could include probiotic foods in my diet. For example, kefir, yogurt, etc. And kefir is just like something similar to yogurt, which is like fermented milk, and taking these probiotics helped me. So these probiotic vitamins had lactobacillus and bifidobacterium, which compete with the Staphylococcus aureus for resources, thus reducing its colony size. For example, the Staphylococcus aureus has a large colony on your skin because of the alkaline pH. So these probiotic vitamins also want to be on that surface of your skin, which competes with this harmful bacteria and thus restores your skin's natural barrier. And another thing that I found was helpful was apple cider vinegar. And this might seem a bit strange at first, but putting it on my skin and taking baths with it did help. So what happens is that apple cider vinegar has a naturally acidic pH of roughly 2.5 to 3.5. And again, this is considered acidic. And so this can help lower the skin, which is basic in terms of eczema, to its natural pH. And another scientific fact that I think is cool is that it reduces the bacterial load on the affected areas due to apple cider vinegar's antimicrobial properties due to its acidity. Okay, so what I did to help get rid of my eczema symptoms was applying diluted apple cider vinegar to severe areas and wrapping the area in a cloth for around 10 minutes every morning and night. And another thing is that if you want to take an apple cider vinegar bath, you can dilute 1 to 2 cups of apple cider vinegar to bath water and soak for around 10 to 20 minutes. And additionally, as you can see, this was after I got rid of my eczema symptoms. I was able to exercise and also not worry about sweat irritating my eczema because I was able to restore my skin's natural barrier. And you can also just try to consume as little processed food as possible because they have a very high glycemic index, which leads to inflammation.
Now for our resources and events, we have 4 different categories. The first one is we want to host more educational workshops and webinars where we invite guest speakers like dermatologists, holistic practitioners, even individuals with eczema to just share their knowledge and experience. We also want to offer more sessions on different coping strategies and treatment options and lifestyle changes. For our second category, we also want to continue to host and raise awareness through awareness and challenge campaigns. So either using our platforms like Instagram, Facebook, and WeChat to share tips, educational content, or hosting awareness weeks where we will organize themes to raise awareness on eczema and skincare issues. We also want to host more health challenges, of course, with prizes, which is something that we'll talk about soon in this webinar.
Okay, so we also have the resource library and sharing. So we first have educational materials. So instead of spending a lot of time trying to find a lot of reliable sources, we do that for you. And so the hard part is already done because you joined Goodbye Eczema. So what we do is that we compile articles, guides, and books on eczema skincare and holistic healing so that you can find what is suitable for you and other information. Another cool thing that we have is product reviews and recommendations. So we do this by sharing reviews and recommendations for products that helped us and also things that we heard that helped other people with different skin types that benefit eczema and also other lists of symptoms. And last but not least, we have these policy discussions, which we share related policies and how members can get involved. And another thing is that we really care about self-confidence. And because a lot of people might not know a lot about eczema, this can cause people to judge others who have eczema because they don't really know about what this is. So in order to help our members feel confident in their own skin and connect with other people, we have these art and writing contests. So this encourages members to create artwork or write essays and poems about their experiences with eczema and health. There's also many things on social media, such as posting, video, or newsletter. For example, we can have you publish creative posts, videos, or newsletters that feature expert advice, tips, and practices that help many people ease their symptoms and live happier, healthier lives. Okay, so now I'd like to introduce this upcoming event, which is Xue's Medical Tai Chi. So this is Fuming Xue, who graduated from Peking University and is also a visiting scholar at the Georgia State University. So Mr. Xue works at the Tai Chi Research in Mechanism and Application with chronic diseases and conditions. Specifically, what he does is that he incorporates modern scientific principles into traditional Tai Chi. For example, he incorporates these aspects of traditional Tai Chi into modern medicine by blending internal energy through static and dynamic movements, and also helps with breath regulation, the circulatory system, and mental focus. And this medical Tai differs from traditional Tai by using these technical methods. This has also been featured in special reports by the World Journal and local English newspapers in Atlanta. And the current research achievements have filled one world gap and made 3 global breakthroughs. So this is a very impactful thing that has pioneered the path of current Tai Chi. And since 2012, all the way up to 2015 and even now, Mr. Xue has taught at American universities and major rehabilitation centers, seeking to spread this wisdom of Tai Chi and also helping people improve their physical and mental well-being.
Now, to give a little context, a few months prior, we hosted a 7-day health challenge, and we made a health survey to go along with it. And this is just for us to get a sense of our community's health status, or to use this data in future research and events. So I'll just go through it really quickly. We have some questions here. Over 40% of people said that their stress is over a rating of 4. And to describe their skincare, 72% said that they needed better skincare. 66% said that they want to improve their diet, and 86% said they needed to pay more attention to drinking water. Continuing sleep, wow, this is only 17% of people said that they get great sleep, and only 17% of people said that they consider themselves to be very active. Regarding hygiene, only around 21% said that they wanted hygiene, and only 31% said that they live in a very healthy environment. And we also had some short response questions and some responses. Most people said that they wanted to improve mentally and physically, become healthier, exercise more, eating and sleeping more regularly, and feeling less stressed. We also have some of our Chinese friends. We created 2 forms, a more international form on Google Form, and then one for our Chinese friends through Microsoft Forms. So me and Nina are, of course, working together to bring this passion and spread more awareness on eczema and how we can recover our skin and health using holistic approaches. But we are encouraging everyone to join our team. So we have a few positions. The first one is city health directors, and these are people who will help share health resources and organize activities in their city, as well as recruiting and working with health officers to make these impacts last. For health officers, they will share resources and health activities in their community to help people improve their health and life quality. And for health challengers, these are those that will participate in challenges to improve their own health habits and lifestyle and strive to become a challenge winner.
Okay, so now I'd like to introduce this fun activity that you can join, which is the 60-day health challenge. So this is basically this health challenge where you take pictures of yourself doing things that improve your lifestyle. For example, drinking more water, going to bed earlier, having a better diet, taking care of your skin, putting on sunscreen, or anything like that. And so you take pictures of yourself daily for this 60-day health challenge and send it to goodbyeeczemaglobal@gmail.com, or you can WeChat it. And so make sure you save this email as well, and we can send this in the chat afterwards in case you have not saved it. And you have a chance to win a prize, which is a really cool part because you also get rewarded for taking care of your body.
Okay, thank you, Nina. To go more in depth about the 60-day health challenge, essentially it's the 7 categories that I talked about before, and each week you will focus on one of these categories. So for example, week 1 will be mind and spirit, week 2 will be skincare, and so on and so forth. And this challenge will actually begin tomorrow. Tomorrow. So from August 24th to October 22nd, and we will post these on our platforms, so Facebook, Instagram, and WeChat.
Okay, so these are the prizes, which is first place with $50, and these are just the conversions if you live outside of the United States. And second place is $30, and third place is $20. And again, this is determined by how committed you were to the 60-day health challenge and how many photos you took throughout the year, just throughout the 60-day challenge, just to show that you were very focused on improving your eczema and also your other physical and mental health symptoms.
Okay.
Now we would like to welcome everyone for the Q&A time. But before we get into that, here are some important QR codes we highly encourage everyone to take a picture of or scan. So to the left, we have the QR code to either for general questions or to join our WeChat group. And in the middle, we have our more international communities, which includes our Facebook group and Instagram.
Okay. So the sharing is wonderful. I think I learned a lot about eczema, and I have had a lot of misunderstanding of it as well. So thank you so much. I learned a lot, and 我相信在座的各位也会学习到很多。那我们现在就是问答环节，大家可以要么开麦，要么在评论区里面写下你们的问题，然后如果说需要翻译的话，我可以帮忙翻译。So everyone, you can ask your question, either type or just speak out, and I can help to translate if needed. So I have a personal question for two speakers. So what is your motivation to do this? Like, so you have these experiences, and most of the people, they just deal with it and then just move on, maybe share to their friends. Why are you going to share to all other people? What's motivated you?
I can go first. I think it's because after going through this process, I can really empathize with a lot of people because, yeah, I can tell my friends, but I know personally from what I've gone through, I know a lot of people will feel the same because during that time, my mom, I appreciate my mom because she greatly supported me, but towards the outside, like no one really understood me. I couldn't really tell anyone this, even like my friends. I only tell them after I recovered because I was too embarrassed or ashamed. Like I don't want to show them my skin. So
Mm.
I really wanted, so after recovering and figuring out these ways to help me, not just like more holistic ways to help me, I really wanted to share with other people as well, because I know they're going through the same thing, maybe even worse. And a lot of times we usually only like we see what works like temporarily, right? Like the medicine is temporary, but it works. Like you see the difference in like less than 1 week. So a lot of times we just rely on these medicines. But I mentioned like TSW, like topical steroid withdrawal, they can have really severe consequences. So only seeing like a medical aspect of this really is you're being blindsided. You only know half of the story. So I think it's really important. And it's a new way because Goodbye Eczema, we focus more holistically and a mental and physical aspect of that. Yeah.
Yeah, and personally for me, and thank you, Athena, for sharing, I thought that eczema was something that people had very little awareness about, because personally I think that eczema is not only about the eczema. I think it can also connect to other things such as skin cancer, for example, because research for eczema has connected to many research papers for other cancers, because as I stated in my scientific research, it also relates to other parts of the body such as the gut microbiome and other holistic areas that we may not think about. And so something that inspired me was that because this was really impacting my schoolwork, extracurriculars, and everything else, I thought that this was a great chance in order to spread awareness about this and help others know that this isn't only about the skin, because I've seen many people just use moisturizers or steroids, but they don't really care about their diet or anything like that, thinking that their skin might not be impacted. However, this is something that needs to be considered because, especially dermatology, many companies try to scam people, trying to say that just using their moisturizer will instantly get rid of all of their eczema. So I think this is also very dangerous because it can cause people to develop skin cancer in the future. And this is something that simply can't happen to our society because of the very big implications this could have. And so I think that by teaching people how to take care of their skin and also teaching them that this is something to not be ashamed about and that they should be confident in embracing their skincare journey, which is why I was very inspired to join the Goodbye Eczema Global Health Alliance.
Thank you so much. I'll translate for like Chinese speakers right now, like very simply. 所以刚才 Aprilia 她说，她分享了她自己跟湿疹斗争的这么一个经历吧，但是她也说到她在这个过程中感受到了孤独和不被理解的感觉，因为这个可能是她是在其他周围的人里面，她是比较独特的这样一个患者，他对朋友可能也会难以启齿。其实我是非常的同情这一点，然后在他的康复之后，他找到了更加自然和整体的方法来应对湿疹，所以他能去想要帮助其他有相同困扰的人。他强调了一点，就是说依赖药物治疗可能有很短期的就是有很短期的改善的效果，但是药物会带来副作用，所以去关注身心健康和整体长期治疗的方法很重要。然后妮娜她说到呢，湿疹不仅仅是皮肤的问题，它还可能与其他的健康问题相关，比如说皮肤癌这种比较严重的问题。它在科学的研究中呢，发现说湿疹还跟身体的其他的部分相关，比如说肠道微生物群等整体的健康领域。那湿疹对它的各种学业课外活动产生了很大的影响，那它也促使他希望能够通过传播更多正确的认知来帮助大家了解到湿疹不只是表面的问题，还有内在的很多紊乱的问题，这些都是我们要用系统的眼光去看待的。然后他提到很多人只注重保湿和类固醇，忽视了饮食这种重要的因素。Okay. Then the next question is in the chat room. So for the Facebook URL, can you share it in the chat room? And then another Chinese question is to speakers. when you are recovering, how did you overcome the itchy feelings mentally and physically?
So something that I did to overcome the itchiness was, as I stated, apple cider vinegar. So you can either just first make sure to do this 24-hour test, which is something that I didn't mention before, because you could be like allergic or sensitive to apple cider vinegar. So make sure that you test it on a small section of skin or on your eczema first before trying it. And then afterwards, you can just apply both morning and night by just applying like a diluted layer to your skin and then wrapping it in a washcloth and keeping it there for like 10 to 20 minutes, depending on your skin type, and then just doing this morning and night. And another thing that I thought was helpful was aloe vera. And again, you should make sure to test all of these for allergens in case you're sensitive or have a reaction to these. And just like you can either get natural aloe vera at the store, or you can just buy like aloe vera that is in a bottle in many supermarkets or skincare stores. So I like to apply this whenever I'm feeling dry because it doesn't get like too greasy, which can often cause flare-ups. And this also helps combat like the feeling of itchiness in case you're like exercising and you're sweating. So I also make sure to, for example, when you're exercising, after you sweat, make sure to wipe the sweat off as fast as possible and just wash it with clean water, because you don't want the sweat and the salt to stay on your skin, or else it might go through the barrier and cause inflammation due to the stratum corneum, causing like all of these cracks in your skin. So just make sure to like always wash your skin off in every area after you exercise.
Yeah, those are some great tips. And I would also like to add some of my own. So for the physical part, I found a lot of different like I didn't really use any like substance like aloe vera or anything. Whenever it got really itchy, I would just like tap my skin or use like cold water or like water to like wrap it. And that like really helped a lot. For the mentally, I would just try to distract myself, try to think of something else. But usually if it would get really itchy, I'll try to just before when it was really bad, I cut my nails really short, because now I like to keep my nails long, but before when it was really bad, I like to keep my nails short. So even if I do scratch it, the damage isn't as bad. Or sometimes if it gets really itchy and just can't control it, always remember to moisturize. Like I said before, I always bring a little pack of my lotion wherever I go, or just slightly rub it or tap it over the clothes. Yeah.
感谢，我觉得都是非常有用的一些细节，然后稍微总结一下 ，I'll like quickly summarize it。妮娜说到呢，她使用了苹果醋和芦荟来缓解那个湿疹瘙痒的这个小经验。她建议首先要进行皮肤的测试，进行24小时的皮肤测试，避免过敏。然后具体方法是将稀释后的苹果醋涂在皮肤上，然后用毛巾包裹10到20分钟，每天早晚各1次。另外一个是他认为有效的方法是芦荟，不管是天然的还是售卖的。然后他建议在皮肤干燥的时候使用芦荟，因为它不油腻。我现在要把这些就是我讲到的直接发到聊天框里，这样大家都可以看到。然后所以说就是首先要避免过敏。然后 Athenia 她分享到的是，她虽然没有通过像芦荟这样的物质去对抗瘙痒，但是她是通过拍打皮肤，或者是用冷水和湿敷来缓解瘙痒的。在心理上的应对呢，她会选择转移注意力，然后避免去过度的关注瘙痒。大家可能可以去关注一下正念，就是 mindful meditation， 就是当湿疹严重的时候，它将指甲剪短，这样即便不小心抓到了，造成的损害也不会很大。OK， 那么接下来大家还有什么问题吗？ Thank you for the answering. It's very helpful.
补充一点，刚才有一位朋友在问是不是可以拿到 slides， 我们这里边讲到了很多这些知识的内容哈，回头我们都会再通过 challenge， 待会儿会就讲到这个刚才讲的 challenge 了，通过60天的 challenge 都会在那个里边给大家分享，所以大家不用就说一定要这个 slides， 因为里头有很多就是 personal 的嘛，就是有个人的一些 sensitive 的图片啊或什么的，所以我们一般不会去就是到处去流传这些 presentation， 所以我们不会直接发 slides， 但是里边所讲到的这些知识内容，最后我们都会通过资料的形式分享给大家，所以大家到时候加入到这个健康群里边都会得到我们的信息，谢谢。
OK，那我们再稍微等待一下其他的问题。We will wait a few more maybe seconds for other questions. Or if you have questions on the 60-day challenge or the Tai Chi, I'm personally very interested in it. Where can we find the information for the Tai Chi you mentioned?
这个大家都可以到入群的参加我们的群里之后，我们都会分享这个疑问，下一个 event 的 planning， 然后具体的这个 question 呢，可以联系在第一个这个那个 QR code 联系 Jane 会给大家 answer， 好吧？谢谢。
谢谢 Spring。那么我们这次的论坛就非常顺利的圆满结束了。那么大家只要进群以后，还有一个 health survey，也可以去填写一下。Thank you so much for attending this, and I wish you a good day or good evening. Spring. So is this the end of the workshop? So we can actually thank you for listening. Yeah.
谢谢大家，2位嘉宾，谢谢你们，祝大家周末愉快。所以到时候欢迎大家在群里头，我们会有分享很多信息和资源，然后大家有 question 都可以直接问我们的嘉宾在群里面。然后我也鼓励因为在座的好多都是我们的中国的朋友，我也会鼓励他们不只是在 WeChat， 也进我们的 Facebook 和 Instagram， 这是 international 的。我知道在国内的朋友可能不行但是如果是在国外的一些朋友，中国朋友也进入到这些就是说 international 的英文环境里边去，因为你可以看到一个更大的世界吧，更多的人的信息。这样呢也有一个全球的互动，所以我鼓励大家有一些就是全球的视野吧，就是这3个群都可以参加，从我们的 WeChat 到 Facebook 到 Instagram， 所以两边中英文都会有。好，谢谢大家，那祝大家晚安，周末愉快。也希望大家能够参与到明天开始，我们就进入这个 Health Challenge 了，到时候希望能看到大家的照片和真正的 take action， 就是行动起来。好，非常感谢 Athenia、Nina、Cindy，great host， 谢谢你们。
Okay, thank you everyone. Bye.
Thank you everyone for attending.
Bye.
Bye everyone.
Bye everyone.